3-on-3 team for the Olympics. So 3 possible starters for Chicago, all out again, but that has been about the 3rd or 4th game with all 3 of them out. In fact, the only time they have been full strength was the opener against the Washington Mystics. And the tip goes to Erica Wheeler. Some new names, some fresh names, blending with these old faces. That's part of the story of the LA Sparks here this year. And Garanta is feeding inside this time to Chiney Ogwumike, who fires for the first 2.
Ogwumike posting up down low, getting that good position on the inside for that over-the-top lob pass finish.
And the first assist here for Areli Garantes as well. I mentioned that she's starting in her first career game. A product out of Rutgers, played for C. Vivian Stringer, started her career at Texas Tech. And there is Astu Dufal, who hits her first 3.
One of the biggest strengths the Chicago team has is a lot of its post players can step out and knock down that 3. A Dufal doing just that.
Her 3rd 3-point make of the year, and only shooting 22% from back there for this year. A now 3 of 10 shooting percentage.
Any type of player who stands at 6'5", like Dufal, and has the ability to step out and knock down that 3, it only spreads up the floor on offense.
Here's Wheeler looking to split the difference. The kick out to Nneka Ogwumike. And Garantes starting again. She lofts it up, but starting in the place of Brittany Sykes. Derek Fisher hoping maybe Sykes could come off the bench and provide a little bit of extra spark and energy. Maybe as a 6th player tonight. And Diamond DeShields drawing the personal.
DeShields starting to hunt for her shot more and more as the season has progressed, just taking the ball, becoming one of those efficient scorers on the Chicago team as well.
It's the first personal on Chiney Ogwumike. You're looking at James Wade. We had a conversation with him on a Zoom call earlier today. He said turnovers and offensive rebounding the priority. Those are 2 categories that really killed them against Atlanta.
Only 2 teams in the WNBA average more turnovers than the Chicago Sky, who sit at 18 a game. He says he just wants to cut that number down as much as possible moving forward.
It'll be interesting to watch that part of the game kind of evolve. Atlanta is the 2nd best in the league in terms of turning teams over. Who is the best? The team that you're watching here tonight, the LA Sparks. And Chiney looking to back down Ruthie Hebert, and she lost her footing a little bit, still nearly converted the bucket. Wheeler getting the defensive assignment on Diamond DeShields here to start. And Hebert up against Chiney Ogwumike, excuse me, she turns and spins and fires.
Hebert starting to get more comfortable creating in the paint, coming down off the dribble, just a little head fake, shoulder fake for that finish.
Here's Kristi Tolliver, who's returned to LA, playing in her 2nd stint with this franchise in her career. Chiney was trying to find Nneka, and Chicago ripped it away.
The Ogwumike sisters so effective in the paint. Chicago trying to pack that paint, limit space.
Here's DeShields taking it all the way. She wanted a call, didn't get it. Nneka on the push against Dufal, and she takes it all the way for 2.
Incredible body control that Nneka Ogwumike brings to the floor. Doesn't need much space, just the ability to go up, focus, and finish.
Quick hands by Garantes. Now the shot clock at 10. Kahleah Copper blowing past the entire LA defense.
Blowing past the entire LA defense because she has one of the quickest first steps on the floor. Doesn't need a lot of room to navigate through traffic.
Now everyone has scored. 4 of the 5 starters have scored here for Chicago. Courtney Vandersloot, the only one who has not hit the scoreboard yet.
The defensive side of the ball is where Chicago is trying to stay aggressive, especially starting out. Nneka Ogwumike coming down, again, doesn't need space, doesn't care that Dufal is 6'5", finishes nonetheless than Copper. Splitting traffic, doesn't need a lot of room to navigate. So quick, so long without ability to finish.
A quick timeout called here. We haven't played about 3 minutes here so far. And Chicago with the 9-4 advantage.
From new beginnings to epic endings.
It will be Chelsea versus Manchester City.
We Need to Talk brings you a Saturday of soccer tomorrow on CBS.
Bun mayo, chicken pickle, Nipsey Hussle said it the best. The highest human act is to inspire. And so to be able to inspire whoever touched me in a way that I didn't know it would.
Seimone Augustus, one of the smoothest offensive players. Augustus has another one. It's beautiful to watch.
Minnesota has the rebound. Here's Seimone in transition. Giant step to the rack with the right wing.
Look at that. Are you kidding me?
Augustus hits it and is fouled.
Like, the fans were always amazing. They know they always have a piece of my heart. I gave them everything in 14 years that I could give. And I felt that in return.
The leadership she brings, but also a light personality. It's a good teammate to have around.
She's as accomplished of a basketball player as anybody in the world.
Well, I love the game of basketball. I love the competitive nature, the friendships or the relationships that I've built throughout the years. Just the fun that we have, just to see the journey that we go on year in and year out of me individually and as a team.
You want to say something? Say hi.
That's why I love the game.
To shoot from the logo, Ionescu from the logo, the 25th anniversary logo.
This is SRX Racing on CBS.
Many in the Chicago area this week writing, talking about James Wade. The Chicago Sky and James Wade filed a complaint to the league after Wade cited that he was the target of a racially derogatory remark made by an official during Tuesday's game against Atlanta. Wade told us today he filed the complaint to stand up for himself and allow the league to know he felt disrespected. The official involved in the incident, Isaac Barnett, did officiate last night's Dallas and Atlanta game. Now, the WNBA typically reviews cases like this, but rarely comments during an investigation. And it certainly was some of the discussion as LA turns it over. It was a discussion with some of the local media, and James Wade didn't shy away from talking about it with the local media, but would like to move on. He just wanted the WNBA to know that he felt like he was being treated differently than some of the other coaches in the league. And we were talking in the timeout that James Wade actually might be happy with some of the spacing, too, that we're seeing here offensively and some of the advantages that that's creating here early.
And that was something as Ruthie Hebert gets the rebound put back for Chicago. One of the biggest complaints Coach Wade had in that Atlanta loss this week was Chicago's spacing was terrible on the offensive side of the ball. So far in this first quarter, Chicago's spacing much better. Did you see a player down here for Atlanta as we get this stop and play?
Yeah, it looks like Erica Wheeler. She never made it back down the court after that defensive possession there for LA. And so a full timeout is called here as some of these players have come over. You see Amanda Zahui with her hand on Wheeler's back. These are the first few seconds and minutes that actually Zahui is playing this year. And you see Wheeler is down actually on the block, coming off that screen, and she's at the top of the key trying to figure out where this happened. Oh, she got hit by Kahleah Copper.
It looks like just a hit right into the nose. Coming off that screen, trying to guard Copper.
And she never just officially recovered from that.
Few things, I tell you what, hurt more than getting cracked in the face, especially in the nose. So Wheeler, one of the toughest players out there on the floor amongst both teams. Hopefully she can get back out there soon.
Yeah, it's just a great story that she is in the WNBA. Of course, an undrafted player that went on to get an All-Star MVP honor. And grew up in the Miami area, had a lot of different challenges that she had to overcome as well, and has really worked, even since her time at Indiana, has really worked to try to give back to the communities that she has played in. And Indianapolis has certainly been one of those. It'll be interesting what she can do in the Los Angeles community as well.
Los Angeles was very excited when Erica Wheeler came to town as well. And you can see she's just right back in after getting cracked in the face. Such a tough player for this Sparks team.
Vandersloot defending her. She blows past her and finds Nneka beautifully, who lays it in with the left hand.
Nneka Ogwumike with great awareness, seeing that Courtney Vandersloot was on her. A big height advantage Ogwumike has as she slips to the basket.
5-point advantage here for the Sky. Vandersloot still looking for her first points and tosses it over to Diamond, who's off the mark that time. Off and running, touch pass there, and the finish and the foul. Brittany Sykes with an and one opportunity.
Los Angeles able to get out and make some transition offense happen. Chicago late to get back that last trip as well. Off the Diamond Shields miss. Tolliver just looking up. The ball doesn't even hit the ground for Los Angeles. That is a textbook transition drill. Anytime the ball doesn't hit the floor, that is the epitome of efficiency.
Well, Derek Fisher told us in our Zoom call with him here today that every little minute, if they can get quality possessions and build on that in every quarter, they definitely will become an improved basketball team, as Hebert gets the 12th and 13th point here for Chicago, and then gets a wrap-up jump ball situation with Nneka Ogwumike.
To your point, keep in mind, Los Angeles has only played 2 games right now, which is wild to think of when teams like the New York Liberty have already played 6 games this season. Chicago is now playing its 5th, so this Sparks team still trying to find its identity, gel with one another, and learn each other's offensive and defensive tendencies.
Yeah, they'll play 5 games in about 9 days after they've literally had 1 game in every 7 days that they've had here so far. They'll play Friday and Sunday here in Chicago. And Nneka wins that jump ball opportunity. 16 seconds on the shot clock. They're feeding Amanda Zahui B in her first points of 2021.
Zahui B has the ability to spread the floor and knock down open jumpers, which is something Derek Fisher hopes will help that offense be more efficient.
Zahui B had not played in the first 2 games, tweaked her back, and she was listed as probable, but went through a warm-up. And Derek Fisher had told us and some of the other local media in the pregame they were just going to kind of feel it out and see how she is feeling and reacting to the game, and then kind of evaluate how much she might play tonight.
Based off that move, she looks like she's feeling just fine.
Well, she has improved so much. You and I have watched her play in the Big Ten at Minnesota. She's dropped some weight, and there she is. Maybe made that shot a little bit too tough. Had that left-handed layup maybe wide open.
Trying to make it look fancy. It was a fancy pass from Nneka Ogwumike to start, though.
Sloot feeding Hebert, who's being challenged by Zahui B, and she's got another bucket.
Hebert struggled to score on Tuesday against Atlanta, only 3 points. This time, a lot more confidence, staying very poised as she gets the ball in tight situations.
Well, she hasn't missed yet tonight. A perfect 4 for 4, 8 points to lead all scores. Zahui B has not missed at all, or she's missed the 1 shot, but that's her first 3-point make.
She's all smiles coming down after that. Los Angeles needing to work on its spacing. The best way to do that is knocking down threes.
And Sloot trying to hunt down her first points, and that's her first shot of the evening. Zahui B 2 of 3 from the field, and a quick 5 points off the bench. And Nneka trying to feed her again. She's been the hot hand in the last couple of possessions. Spin move, but she stepped there on the baseline for the turnover.
Dufall playing and making the right defensive decision, forcing Zahui B into the baseline. Having that line right there, it's like having another defender commits the turnover.
Amanda Zahui B signed with Los Angeles as a free agent in February. That's after 5 years with New York. And last year in 2020, averaged some career high numbers in terms of points per game, almost right around 9 points per game, and then almost 9 rebounds per game as well. Kalia Copper taking it inside, off the glass for 2.
Excellent awareness from Copper, who had Ogwumike coming up for that help defense. Just stop right there in the middle of the paint to pull up.
And Wheeler lost it. Couldn't control it, so it's turnovers hurting LA early. Four turnovers resulting in 4 points off those turnovers here for Chicago here so far, and the Sky hanging on to a 3-point advantage. Shyla Heel has checked in at the point guard spot for the first time as Vandersloot heads to the bench, and DeShields will get a trip to the free throw line.
DeShield's ability to finish and square up in mid-air is what makes her such an impressive offensive threat. Coming down, reading the screen, Sykes, number 15 on your screen, goes underneath, so Diamond DeShields just continues to attack. She's able to get into the paint very effectively and get fouled.
Zoe B with her first personal. And James Wade, he's talking to us about the rotations, what he's got to figure out when you're missing all-stars, when you're missing starters like he is right now with Parker and Quigley and Stephanie Dolson. So, you know, we don't have a whole lot of people to turn to. You know, if you were listening to us talk about them on Tuesday against Atlanta, part of their problem in terms of finding offensive rhythm and efficiency, they haven't been able to go even 5-on-5 at practice because of some of the injuries. Nneka with the offensive rebound and putback.
Chicago has to have an awareness of where Nneka Ogwumike is at all times on the floor. Have to put a body on her because she is punching that ball, trying to finish the offensive possession. Off the miss, threes equal long rebounds. Nobody on Chicago boxes out properly by putting a body into Ogwumike down low, and she's able to take advantage and finish.
Well, it took all of about 7 minutes into this game for LA to pick up its first offensive rebound. And Nneka Ogwumike making good on it.
That was an area head coach James Wade of Chicago wants to focus on for this game, is that offensive rebounding component. Atlanta was able to rebound the ball on the offensive side at a high clip last game. Chicago trying to limit that coming in here.
Azurá Stevens moving on that screen, and she picks up her first personal. Azurá Stevens playing the most that she has this season in the last game, 20 minutes or so. She still is on a minute restriction, and the 20 was just a little bit beyond what the athletic trainers would like to see her do. Another putback for Nneka.
That is the same exact play that just happened a possession ago. Nobody gets a body from Chicago on Nneka Ogwumike, and she goes to work.
As we mentioned, Hill is running things offensively for Chicago. The Australian product, a top 8 pick in this year's draft. Amanda Zoe B rips it away out to Taya Cooper. A spin move and splitting the difference. Can't get it to fall. Stephanie Watts, the one-time LA Sparks for a few weeks, picks up the rebound. And here's Hill with a deep triple try. Still hunting her first field goal of her WNBA career. Off and running on the transition. It's Cooper with the finish. And Chicago and James Wade will call a timeout. LA has taken the advantage 20-19 with under 2 to play in the first quarter.
Los Angeles starting to force Chicago to turn the ball over, getting them really uncomfortable on the offensive side of the ball. Chicago had really great spacing offensively, was controlling the pace of this game in those first 5 minutes, and Los Angeles has come out, has forced Chicago to play on its heels.
What were the two things we were talking about with James Wade? He said offensive rebounding, and we saw Nneka Ogwumike get a quick 4 points, right? Off of 2 offensive rebounds. And then, as you mentioned, even the turnovers. So he knew right out of the gates that those were going to be 2 categories that could make a difference between a win or a loss tonight.
Chicago knows what it has to do in order to execute the game plan. It's about sustaining that for 40 minutes of basketball. If you take a look on this last play off the Chicago miss, Nia Coffey for Los Angeles looking up, trying to get those transition buckets. Los Angeles does a really nice job anytime running down. They have players that sprint to the basket, trying to create those transition opportunities. Chicago's nice job getting back on defense. However, there have been a couple of times these last few possessions that Los Angeles has just Chicago down the floor.
Derek Fisher said in the pregame, you know, we're trying to find our way too offensively. Both of these teams are, and you mentioned only 2 games in. He said we got to build a rhythm, timing that is just disjointed. You just don't get it unless you play games. We haven't had the opportunity to play many games. But hopefully, as I had mentioned, a few minutes every quarter where they start getting that flow and that builds into something. And there is Diamond DeShields, who is a little bit off the mark. And into the hands here of Brittany Sykes. Cooper is short. Heel with the kick out. Diamond DeShields getting Sykes in the air and then turns it over. And Nia Coffey with the step through move.
Up and down we go with these two teams on the offensive end for Chicago. Los Angeles really crowding Diamond DeShields. Anytime she gets the ball, there's a guard guarding Shyla Heal that's coming off a little bit, just trying to make Diamond DeShields uncomfortable and force her to make a quick decision.
Well, Diamond will take a seat. All her points have come from the free throw line right now. She is 0 for 3 from the field and missed her only three-point attempt. And 1:10 left to play here in this first quarter. Nneka Ogwumike again winning that jump ball situation. We got a whistle down on the baseline. And Astou Dufal is whistled for the foul. Nearly a turnover there, and it is a turnover.
Heal for Chicago doing a nice job crowding, trying to deny the ball coming in, and that forces that turnover from Los Angeles.
5 turnovers now for LA. And approaching about a minute left to play here in the first quarter. Chicago looking to retake the advantage. Here's Watts for 3. She's 0 for 7 here so far from three-land to begin her WNBA career. Going baseline with the kick out. Cooper wants it. And Heal for 3. Offensive rebound for Chicago. Watts will take it inside.
Chicago doing a better job spacing offensively, just needing to try to take high-quality shots versus those types of runners in the lane.
Chiney Ogwumike takes the final shot.
Doesn't get much better than that. Basketball morning, noon, night, whatever you want on the app, nationally. Man, getting your fix this summer.
And then, you know, if you download the app, you can always go back and watch any games anytime you want.
Oh, I love me some WNBA League Pass, let me tell you.
On demand. Quite literally. That is not the start to the second quarter, though, that James Wade wanted. Another turnover. And what he said, too, unforced turnovers as well, now the 5th in the game. And so Shyla Heal actually will begin this second quarter at the point guard spot and defending Cooper on that. Another offensive rebound. Chiney can't get it. How about once, twice, perhaps 3 times? Now Chicago scoops it up, but takes it away is Brittany Sykes. And Heal is whistled for the personal, and just like that, Courtney Vandersloot shedding the warm-up and checking in for Shyla Heal.
Heal coming in only in her 3rd game in a Chicago Sky uniform, has not had a ton of time to practice. And as a point guard, you have to have time with your teammates in order to learn their tendencies. Something Vandersloot is so good at is knowing what makes her teammates good and how to put them in positions to be successful. Heal just has not had that time yet with her teammates.
Slow offensive start for Heal. An 0 for 6 shooting start in her career. She's, as you mentioned, she's only played 3 games, had a little bit of a delay because of some visa issues after getting drafted from Australia. Boy, Brittany Sykes got those quick hands. She has turned over Chicago a few times, draws the contact, and they will count it.
Sykes, one of the best defenders on the floor for either teams, has an incredible awareness of where the ball is at all times, and she puts her bodies in positions between her man and the ball, gets a hand up, active hands, then comes down, notices transition-wise, she's got only one down there, and absorbs the contact, makes sure it's not a charge, and still is able to finish.
5 points in 8 minutes of play off the bench, and this is exactly why Derek Fisher wanted to try to get her coming off the bench here tonight. One of the reasons why he started Aurelia Garantes in the place of Sykes, not as a punishment or as a demotion, but just trying to fiddle with the rotations a little bit.
Huge for these teams that have, across the board, the WNBA, such talented offensive players, but there's so much value to having a talented defensive player on your team, and just like that, Sykes showing why she is so effective and important for this Los Angeles team.
It's the third steal already for Brittany Sykes. Wheeler tosses it away, and off and running, here comes Chicago, and Copper gives it up.
Sykes getting a hand in there once again, forcing that turnover from Copper.
Brittany Sykes takes pride in being one of the better defenders in the league, and certainly turning over. Excuse me, I shortchanged her 4 steals already.
Why are you shortchanging her?
It's happening too quickly, back to back to back. She has almost as many steals as points. 6 points and 4 steals in 9 minutes of play. Foul committed, I believe, on Diamond Shields. That'll be her second. No, her third.
DeShields is going to have to go to bench probably for the remainder of this second quarter. Chicago starting to force too much offensively, getting sped up quite a bit, needing to take a breath, run an offense, get a good set going, and get that spacing back to where it was in the first quarter to get a better shot selection.
So 3 personal fouls on Diamond DeShields. 4 points, all of them coming from the free throw line in 11 minutes of play. And you can just see the reaction of James Wade. Not only short-handed coming into tonight, but one of his best players now in foul trouble. And forcing the issue there is Bria Holmes.
Holmes using a good angle to get off the floor, and offensive foul is called.
And you can imagine this building. Sky fans just don't like that.
Off of the, yeah, that is a very interesting call off of the handoff. It looks like Vandersloot and Copper just ran into each other.
Well, they ruled the offensive foul on Courtney Vandersloot for running into Bria Holmes. And that's the first personal on Sloot. And Stephanie Watts gets tripped up that time by Aurelia Garantes.
A Studu fall posting up down low. Chicago needs to try to get the ball inside. There's been a lot of movement around the perimeter, but get the ball inside and try to get that inside-outside action going to free up more space on the perimeter.
James Wade said he thought that the post shot selection was fine Tuesday against Atlanta, and they just weren't able to finish a whole lot. Vandersloot is short. Chicago, 1 of 7 shooting from deep, by the way. That has been a problem for them, is their 3-point accuracy. Watts passes up the 3. They work it around. Watts open this time for 3, and she drills it. Her first 3-point make of her WNBA career.
Watts shooting with a lot of confidence, in rhythm, shoulders squared up to the basket, good ball movement and awareness by Chicago.
Stephanie Watts played both preseason games with the LA Sparks before the trade was made for Watts and Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams now will be playing for Los Angeles, not this year. She'll remain on the suspended list, playing for the French international team. And Coffey rings it up from straight away.
Coffey hitting 2 threes here in the last minute for Los Angeles. That left-hander is able to square up and knock it down under pressure.
Newfall is too strong. Gets her own miss, though. And will take it strong inside. Cheney with a block. And a little out of control, an offensive foul call on Holmes.
Excellent awareness and anticipation by Vandersloot to draw the contact for that foul.
And that one's going to hurt. Holmes, meanwhile, is still down on the court. And Vandersloot trying to shake it off. Well, Chicago needed these points from Stephanie Watts. It was a 14-0 Los Angeles run.
Inside outside basketball, Watts stepping up and showing what she can bring as a rookie. Chicago trying to erase this lead Los Angeles has. Coffee making it rain.
Don Mayo. 5 to shoot. From the logo, Ionescu! From the logo, the 25th anniversary logo. Nice look inside from Ionescu to Didi Richards.
She's getting whatever she wants in there. When she touches it that deep in the lane, she is going to get an opportunity. Nice dive.
Great feed and nice dive, as Jules said, by Wickham.
You had to keep Maddie around for 25. Come on,
yeah,
keep 25 alive.
There you go. Nice, partner. Sabrina Ionescu, off balance, hits the J. Shooting 44% from the floor overall. As Ionescu backs in, powers, gets it to go, and she's fouled. 3 rebounds and an assist shy of a triple-double. No Liberty player has ever had a triple-double. And there's a triple for Ionescu. Sabrina Ionescu has just accomplished a triple-double, getting her 10th rebound, and she hits the 3! Oh, baby! The excitement is palpable. We're in the arena. There are fans in the building, and the future of this franchise is bright.
This team is fully together, fully healthy. Boy, they are going to be an exciting team to watch.
Well, one of those players coming back from injury, and that's Sabrina Ionescu.
Just really getting her feet wet. It's been a while since she's been able to get out and play.
Ionescu connects on her first 3 of the season. Nice look inside from Ionescu. Had to gather that pass, puts up a long 3 herself, and banks it in.
You know Sabrina Ionescu has the ball. She's going to find you.
First game of the season. The Liberty will have a chance to win this game. Tied at 87 with under 6 to go. Ball inbound to Kylie Shook. 4 seconds left. Ionescu, a long 3 for the win, and she gets it! Sabrina Ionescu! 0.4 seconds left. And the Liberty win the season opener here at Barclays Center by 3.
Taking a look at the injury report. Again, no Candace Parker, out with the left ankle injury. And again, no Allie Quigley. Again, trying to rehab that hamstring injury. And Candace Parker not allowed, really tonight at least, to play against her former team. But that doesn't mean she hasn't brought the spirit and the energy on the sideline.
Not only is Candace Parker a veteran, but few people know the Los Angeles Sparks better than Candace Parker does. And what an asset this is for Chicago, for her to be able just to be in the huddle, sharing that experience, coaching. She takes her job as a leader very seriously for this team.
One of the reasons why, among many, of course, other than the fact that she's one of the best to ever play the game, but her versatility, her leadership has been invaluable here so far. And Stephanie Watts, a couple quick buckets for 5 points off the bench.
Watts making a quick adjustment. She already hit a 3. Los Angeles isn't going to let that happen again. She pulls up that pump fake, gets to the basket for that finish.
Her first buckets coming here tonight in her WNBA career as Ogwumike gets wrapped up. And Stevens rips it away, off and running. Here's Copper on the leak out, but she can't convert.
That's what Chicago wants to do, get the ball out in transition. If they bring it on the defensive side of the ball, they're able to therefore turn that into quick transition opportunities offensively.
Azurá Stevens whistled for another personal. And that is her second. Stevens with 2 personals. We mentioned Diamond DeShields with the 3 personals. James Wade telling us Azurá Stevens at about a 16-minute restriction right now. Still battling back from a foot injury. Mentioned that she played 20 minutes in the last game against Atlanta, and he said, I have to pull it back. Make sure I keep and monitor that a little bit better here tonight. My athletic training staff would appreciate that.
Pulling his athletic training staff. Sorry, I was I walked from the scores table to my seat just a little slow, you know, sometimes.
It does count. Tanae Ogwumike getting wrapped up, so we'll have another jump ball here with 4 seconds sitting on the shot clock. It'll be Stephanie Watts, who stands at 5'11", up against Tanae Ogwumike at 6'3". think everyone's situated now. The ball is tossed and back into Chiney's hands. With 2 on the shot clock, Garantes fires and hits.
Garantes has that ability to pull up in the mid-range. That's a textbook warm-up shot for the former Rutgers player. Just a little pump fake, good clock awareness for the finish.
If you watched a lot of Big Ten basketball, you got to see a lot of that. And certainly, I think a lot of people were expecting her to get drafted higher than what she was. A lot of pro talent with Arella Garantes. Now 2 to shoot, and Stevens had to put it up. But Watts rips it away for another 2.
Watts staying aware and aggressive on the offensive side of the ball, never leaving a play unfinished.
Nneka thought about it, kicks it back out to the rookie, who's short that time. And Azurá Stevens gets fouled by Chiney. That'll be number 2 on Chiney Ogwumike.
Stephanie Watts coming in big time clutch for Chicago the last couple of possessions, gets an offensive board, gets a steal, finishes down low. These are the little plays that add up big time, especially for rookies, because as a rookie, you have to prove to your coach why you deserve minutes on the floor.
3.5 to play here before the half. Copper looking to go off of Wheeler. And off the heel that time. It will stay Chicago Sky basketball. The shot clock will reset to 14. Courtney Vandersloot playing in 299 career games here tonight. Sunday would be 300. Tucker out for Heber.
Zoe B for Los Angeles doing a good job pushing Hebert out of the paint, not giving her the position she wants.
Zoe B playing in 6 minutes, again in her debut of the 2021 season. I was looking for the handoff there for Tolliver. A miscommunication there between the two, and now 5 on the shot clock. Here's Garantes. This is where she can excel. A little step back move, had to force it up that time. And Copper off and running again for 2.
Copper looking like Air Jordan, taking off from that second hash at the paint line to finish in the air.
Good comparison for this city.
I mean, my goodness, did you see how high she got there? Woo.
She's fast. Nneka short. And Courtney Vandersloot with the rebound. It'll be LA basketball.
Those are the little things in rhythm. Chicago hasn't quite been totally in sync, but Kahleah Copper, talk about being in sync in transition. Vandersloot knows where to get the ball, and that is to Kahleah Copper. Let her stand, give her the ball just a little bit ahead. She'll make it look good and finish it the rest. Los Angeles keeps this lead in the second.
Five to shoot. From the logo, Ionescu! From the logo, the 25th anniversary logo. Nice look inside from Ionescu to Didi Richards.
She's getting whatever she wants in there. When she touches it that deep in the lane, she is going to get an opportunity. Nice dive.
Great feed and nice dive, as Jules said, by Wickham.
You had to keep Maddie around for 25. Come on,
yeah,
keep 25 alive.
There you go. Nice partner. Sabrina Ionescu, off balance, hits the J. Shooting 44% from the floor overall. As Ionescu backs in, powers, gets it to go, and she's fouled. 3 rebounds and an assist shy of a triple-double. No Liberty player has ever had a triple-double. And there's a triple for Ionescu. Sabrina Ionescu has just accomplished a triple-double, getting her 10th rebound, and she hits the 3! Oh, baby! The excitement is palpable. We're in the arena. There are fans in the building, and the future of this franchise is bright.
This team is fully together, fully healthy. Boy, they are going to be an exciting team to watch.
Well, one of those players coming back from injury, and that's Sabrina Ionescu.
Just really getting her feet wet. It's been a while since she's been able to get out and play.
Ionescu connects on her first three of the season. Nice look inside from Ionescu. Tried to gather that pass, puts up a long three herself and banks it in.
You know Sabrina Ionescu has the ball. She's going to find you.
First game of the season. The Liberty will have a chance to win this game. Tied at 87 with under 6 to go. Ball inbound to Kylie Shook. 4 seconds left. Ionescu, a long three for the win, and she gets it! Sabrina Ionescu! 0.4 seconds left. And the Liberty win the season opener here at Barclays Center by 3. Ice in her veins as she knocks it down, finishes with 25 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds.
I had all dreamt about it last night. Try and not think about basketball too much the night before game because I get nervous.
Smartphone.
Well, this season, beyond that first game, Chicago has been looking to get some production off the bench. They certainly have done that with Stephanie Watts here so far.
Watts coming in 7 points so far for the rookie, but she's getting it done in the little ways that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet. Making the right reads, getting an offensive rebound, finding teammates in the right spots, and then finishing plays. Bringing those second chance opportunities, finishing with layups. She's also been guarding Arella Garantes for Los Angeles a couple of possessions and has forced Arella to take some off-balance shots. So having an understanding of what to do on the defensive side of the ball as well as the offensive.
They will take any two-way players that they can. And Watts maybe again like with some little extra motivation playing against a team that she was drafted by, thought she was going to play and start her career here in LA. And a foul and a hack on the loose ball there by Taya Cooper. You know, digest some of these numbers. We talk about the bench scoring has been lacking for Chicago. Only 15% of their points have come from the non-starters as Zoe B gets the block. And Sykes picks it up. A lot of that, of course, is because of the different rotations, is because of the absence of Parker and Quigley and Dolson. That shot rimming out.
Agumake does so much of her work before she catches the ball, puts her body in the right position to get herself in the best place to score.
They leave Copper wide open and she makes them pay. It's her first three-point make of the night.
When Chicago hits threes, that helps spread the floor even more, allowing driving lanes and allowing the ball to get inside easier to post players.
Astu Du picking up another foul. And that's her second. Let's go back to the Copper three.
Vandersloot always has the awareness of where her teammates are on the floor. Copper wide open, able to knock that down again. Anytime you can get those threes going, James Wade telling us he wants his team to get up 23s a game, picking that number because one of their assistant coaches says that's the way where the game is trending so far. So those three-point opportunities Chicago really wants to try to capitalize on.
He said, you know, he's aware of the fact that other teams can attempt 33s. That's probably not within their skill set right now, considering all the missing pieces that they have. Maybe they can get to 30 attempts when Allie Quigley comes back. Candace Parker can obviously shoot the three, as well as Steph Dolson. And missing those three key pieces off and run, and Sykes again with another and one. She's having quite the first half.
Sykes making things very difficult on defense for Chicago, then turning it into good offense. To have a player that has that type of defensive mindset so big for Los Angeles. Tolliver making Chicago uncomfortable, and then Sykes just coming down and finishing in traffic midair to get hit and have the strength to still get the ball in the bucket. Whew. Sykes hitting the weight room this offseason.
8 points, 5 steals for Brittany Sykes in 10 minutes off the bench. And add in a couple of rebounds or two. Involved in a trade with Atlanta in the 2020 offseason. Of course, is one of those players that was a part of the Final Four team at Syracuse. So we have a lane violation that took that free throw attempt away. Vandersloot still looking for her first points. And she pulls and hits the 15-footer.
Vandersloot just making something happen out of nothing. Almost a turnover results in a bucket.
3,004 career points now. If you're keeping track, that's tops in Chicago Sky franchise history and her first 2 points of the evening. And Cooper with the lefty finish. Watts with all kinds of confidence, but can't get that one to drop. Kind of the half person that I was sort of referencing. So, you know, down to, you talk about when you're limited in numbers, that certainly was the case, especially in the first half for James Wade in the Sky. Offensive rebound for Hebard, and she gets the soft touch to drop.
And credit to your point, Lisa, credit the Sky for having all of that stacked against them and still only being down 5 when this game started.
And Hebard now leading all scorers with 10 points, so she's rebounded nicely. You mentioned her numbers from the last game. Just 1 of 6. That's the worst shooting performance of her career on Tuesday against Atlanta. Copper pulling up from the elbow. Not there. Chiney Ogwumike with her 4th rebound.
Garanta's going underneath the screen regarding Copper, giving her a lot of space to try to pull up in that mid-range. Los Angeles trying to bait Copper into pulling up and knocking down those mid-range shots.
Well, LA is starting out a little bit sloppy here in this first minute of play to begin the 3rd quarter. The 10th turnover here for the Sparks in this game. We showed you the 13 turnovers in the first half for Chicago. Astou Dufal for 2.
Vandersloot sees plays happening 2 passes before they actually happen. She saw Astou Du fighting for position down low, able to hit her with that pass almost before Dufal was even paying attention.
And Sloot got a piece of that Wheeler offering. And now on the push here to Diamond DeShields, and she walks with it.
DeShields getting caught running with the ball, but watch Vandersloot's vision. Dufal posting up against Kristi Tolliver, so there's that size advantage Dufal has at 6'5". Then the defense coming, Vandersloot forcing Los Angeles into the baseline, into the help for Hebard to come over and obstruct that vision.
A back-cutting Nneka Ogwumike, who receives the pass from little sis Chiney.
Ogwumike cuts so hard. Again, it's about creating that space and that opportunity, getting the work in before getting the ball. That's what makes Ogwumike such a dangerous player.
Pumps the lead back up to 3 after Chicago cut it to 1, and that layup cuts it to 1 once again.
DeShields does it so effortlessly, the way she just glides through the air.
Wheeler left all alone, creating her own shot. Her first points of the night. Tolliver still looking for her first points. She's the only starter here so far for LA who hasn't scored yet in this game. Vandersloot's in trouble. 8 to shoot on the shot clock. And right into a wall of Nneka Ogwumike. That's kind of an unfair mismatch there. And Chiney Ogwumike called for the offensive foul as Hebard went tumbling.
Ogwumike fighting for position down low. Hebard fighting back and ends up getting the charge called. Last bucket, Nneka Ogwumike just catches Dufal off guard, able to make that back cut. Then just the effortless gliding through the air, splitting traffic right down the middle of a highway. Diamond DeShields needs to be doing more of that for Chicago. The Sky are very dangerous when DeShields getting the bucket and scoring.
And Vandersloot taking it on the left side. All kinds of traffic, and here's LA on the push. Tolliver again. No points here tonight here so far. Sykes have had a big first half. Off the mark on that 3-point attempt. 8 points, 5 steals, and about 11 minutes of play for Brittany Sykes off the bench to start this game. And a turnover for Chicago.
Unforced errors, just mental, where your mind goes faster than the body goes, and those types of little turnovers are just momentum killers for Chicago. Something James Wade says this team has to cut down on are those unforced errors.
We asked James Wade, how do you navigate this time and stay optimistic when you are playing shorthanded with several key players not available? And he said we have to simplify things, so we have to focus on a couple of things, and turnovers, as we have said, and offensive rebounding is the other. Nneka Ogwumike strokes it from 3.
Ogwumike's ability to also bring her game out and knock down the 3 just makes her unfair to guard. I mean, she has a counter to every move possible.
And lots of fingertips and arms trying to chase that pass. It'll be LA basketball.
Chicago has been in a position offensively where Los Angeles has switched to have a smaller player on a post player. Chicago has to try to get the ball and recognize those switches quicker and get the ball inside at a quicker rate.
Sykes will pull up from 15. And she gets her own miss. Good ball movement this time here from the Sparks. Wheeler, what a move! But couldn't get the finish. Oh, those long arms by Nneka, rips it away. LA's got to be careful here on this transition. Sykes with the crossover. Chiney Ogwumike with the rebound. And they're letting them play a little bit in the last few possessions.
This has been a physical ball game too, back and forth between both teams.
Wheeler rips it away. And she'll take it herself, in for 2.
There's a reason why Los Angeles leads the WNBA in forcing turnovers. It's their ability to anticipate and the length that their post players bring, getting into passing lanes, disrupting offensive flow.
How about double-digit steals already? 10 of them in this game. 5 from Sykes, 2 from Nneka Ogwumike. And count it. No, an offensive foul call. An offensive foul call on Copper, and that had James Wade sprinting all the way from the Chicago bench to mid-court. He is furious with that. We are at the midway point of the 3rd quarter. James Wade is hot. We will take a look at it when we come back, but a quick time.
Nipsey Hussle said it the best. The highest human act is to inspire, and so to be able to inspire whoever touched me in a way that I didn't know it would.
Seimone Augustus, one of the smoothest offensive players.
Augustus has another one.
It's beautiful to watch.
Minnesota has the rebound. Here's Seimone in transition. Giant step to the rack with the right wing.
Look at that. Are you kidding me?
Augustus hits it and is fouled.
Like, the fans were always amazing. They know they always have a piece of my heart. I gave them everything in 14 years that I could give, and I felt that in return.
The leadership she brings, but also a light personality. It's a good teammate to have around.
She's as accomplished of a basketball player as anybody in the world.
Well, I love the game of basketball. I love the competitive nature, the friendships or the relationship that I've built throughout the years. Just the fun that we have, just to see the journey that we go on year in and year out of me individually and as a team.
You want to say something? Say hi.
That's why I love the game.
Five to shoot. From the logo, Ionescu! From the logo, the 25th anniversary logo. Nice look inside from Ionescu to Didi Richards.
She's getting whatever she wants in there. When she touches it that deep in the lane, she is going to get an opportunity. Nice dive.
Great feed and nice dive, as Jules said, by Wickham.
You had to keep Maddie around for 25. Come on,
yeah,
keep 25 alive.
There you go. Nice, partner. Sabrini Ionescu, off balance, hits the J, shooting 44% from the floor overall. As Ionescu backs in, powers, gets it to go, and she's fouled. 3 rebounds and an assist shy of a triple-double. No Liberty player has ever had a triple-double, and there's a triple for Ionescu. Sabrini Ionescu has just accomplished a triple-double, getting her 10th rebound and
live events. Okay, so an interesting turn of events on the offensive foul call on Kahleah Copper, and she was up against Kristi Tolliver. And while we were in the break, this official staff looked at that last play at the monitor. We were able to take a look at it too, and so we will replay it for you here. Megan, what do you see?
I completely disagree with this call. Kahleah Copper beats Tolliver to the spot. They're looking at the kick out on the leg. That's a natural basketball play in my eyes. Kahleah Copper comes up and moves her knee out all the time when she goes up for a drive. I don't understand where the contact is, why that was called a charge. I completely disagree with this call.
And so, as I said, they looked at that play at the monitor, the officiating staff did, and they're ruling this a flagrant 1.
Now, the referee's concern is the unnatural kick of the leg into the body of Tolliver, but Kahleah Copper made it to that position first, marking her spot in the territory in the air. So to me, Tolliver coming over late, I don't agree with that.
Well, it's the first points here for Kristi Tolliver. And an important stretch here, so kind of mark this down. This third quarter with about 4:55 left in the third. A couple of free throws by Tolliver. What could have been, I mean, maybe like a three-point play back the other way for Chicago. So certainly a change of momentum here in this quarter.
I can't do math fast enough, but what could have been about a 6-point deficit has now turned into an 11-point.
This is the largest lead of the game for any of these teams. Previously, it was 9 for LA. Chicago had a 7-point advantage in the first half. But 11 now for the Sparks, and yet another turnover. Wheeler looking to cross up Vandersloot, who commits the foul.
Los Angeles taking advantage of the momentum they have right now, coming down and making plays happen in transition, even if it's not resulting in an automatic bucket. Los Angeles doing a nice job drawing fouls and getting to the foul line.
Well, LA continues to put the pedal to the metal, and again, this is a really important turning point for Chicago in several ways. You can see the frustration on some of their faces. Courtney Vandersloot and James Wade, of course, was irate going into the huddle after that game, and you see him still trying to plead his point. Whether you agree or not with James Wade's stance, he has been very vocal, especially this year and in the past, that he's felt like officials have sometimes officiated games differently for Chicago.
Again, that type of call, I'm blown away that this was ruled as flagrant, and I'm gonna have to hear the reasoning about it later, but to me, Kahleah Copper kicks her leg out all the time when she drives to the basket, so how is that any different than another play that she would make?
Well, the foul committed here on Kristi Tolliver. Diamond DeShields from the baseline. DeShields just with the 1 bucket here in the second half.
Chicago needs to get a defensive stop. That's where a lot of their momentum comes from, getting things done on the defensive side of the ball, then turning that into good offense.
A period of time here in the third quarter, the Sky had 5 possessions and 5 turnovers. And looking to find an offensive flow, but this LA defense has been tough here tonight. And Stevens leaves it short.
Los Angeles defense, they do a great job crowding players, so Chicago doesn't have enough room to move, and it feels really claustrophobic.
Backdoor look read perfectly, and Tolliver, it's almost like a layup for her with that shot.
And Tolliver, one of those veterans in the league that's done it a million times, reads plays really well and reacts to the defense.
No points in the first half for Christy Tolliver. She's got a quick 5 points, hasn't missed a shot from the free throw line or now from the field. And DeShields will size it up from the corner for 3.
Excellent awareness from Azurá Stevens, seeing the more open DeShields in the corner, gets her teammate in the ball in a position to score.
The first 3-point make for Chicago in the second half. And Wheeler will pull up and hit from 3.
Wheeler making Chicago pay for going under the screen, saying, hey, I can knock this down, you got to respect it.
She had not hit a 3-point shot coming into this game. Was 0 for 5 on the season, but suddenly this LA team has found its groove a little bit as Copper gets knocked to the court.
Copper is at her best when she is creating and driving in the lane. That's something she's been able to do a couple of times throughout this game and been successful. Chicago needs to continue trying to create those types of driving opportunities, but that comes from good floor spacing. Something that Wade was looking for his team to do coming from Tuesday's game into tonight was creating those really good spacing opportunities, because that allows Courtney Vandersloot to go to work in addition to driving lanes to open.
Zahui B commits her second personal. And here is Watts taking it hard to the cup.
What a great spark off the bench Watts has been for Chicago throughout this game. She had 7 points in the first half, then coming in and being really aggressive on offense, not showing any sort of fear or timidness, staying aggressive, getting to the basket.
Biggest lead here of the game, plus 15. Cooper committed the foul to send Watts to the free throw line. Acquired May 9th from LA for Gabby Williams. Again, Gabby Williams will not be playing in the WNBA this year, playing for the French national team, preparing for the Olympics, so she will remain on the suspended list.
Hebert trying to push Zahui B out of position, but just gets a little too handsy, too aggressive trying to go for that ball.
Hand off there to Tolliver. And a moving screen on Zahui B.
Credit Diamond DeShields for that defensive possession, trying to fight over the top of that screen, able to force Zahui B to move and therefore get that foul called.
The third personal on Zahui B. Janae Ogumike also playing with 3 personals for LA. And we got another moving screen on Hebert. So she's picked up a couple in the last minute or so.
There's been a lot of whistles the last couple of plays as well. All of a sudden, it seems that they're calling this game a lot tighter than they were in the first half.
3 for Hebert, 3 for Dufall, and 3 for DeShields, who played the first half, about 11 minutes in the first half with 3 fouls. Hasn't picked up a foul here in the second half, and we've got another foul. And that one going against Stephanie Watts. And so now LA in the bonus.
Chicago starting to get frustrated with some of these fouls, and as a player, as a team, have to lock in and do and control what you can control, and that's making a really smart defensive play, getting rebounds, trying to generate more transition, which is where Chicago is at its best when they can get out and run.
was trying to find Copper back door, and they threw it away instead.
Multiple miscommunications from Chicago tonight. Simple plays like that offensively where a player has thought one person was going back door and one person was coming for a handoff. Those unforced errors have killed Chicago.
Well, 23 turnovers that have led to 22 points here for LA. Amanda Zahui B looking just A-OK tonight in her debut.
Zahui B, such a hard player to guard simply because of her size, and she's able to step out and knock down that three, spreading the floor rather for Los Angeles.
Dufal with the challenge on Zahui B. Loose ball into the hands of LA. They're off and running. Sykes. And again blocked by Vandersloot. Final few seconds here of the third quarter. A large lead here by the Sparks. Sykes can't hit it. The Sky with a chance for one shot. And the shot clock not in play. Dufal with a hard take and an offensive foul call.
Chicago trying to generate off of that horn set, trying to initially get DeShields off a back cut, then having Stu Dufal try to drive in. Christy Tolliver makes the heads up move, beats her to the spot to take the charge.
4 personals now on Stu Dufal. And that is the third quarter. A big travels to Phoenix. Catch that one on CBS Sports Network. Again, we encourage you to download the WNBA app where you can get all the latest information on this wonderful league, as well as we've talked about, on-demand games if you want.
Literally all hours of the day. If you want a WNBA game on, you got it.
And we got some bodies colliding there between Chiney Ogwumike and Ruthie Hebard, and the foul committed on Chiney, who has had a tough go of it in the foul category.
Credit Hebard for forcing down low that type of positioning and body battle. They've been battling all game long, trying to get position down low.
And they get to a 3-second violation on Chiney Ogwumike, who still sits with 3 personal fouls that time. That there is a foul called on Cooper on this possession.
Los Angeles has stayed really aggressive on the defensive side of the ball throughout this game. That was a worry for Derek Fisher, saying we need to put together 4 quarters of good basketball. That gets called a foul. Regardless, Los Angeles has maintained that level of aggressiveness throughout this game.
Now, this LA team comes into tonight with an 0-2 record for the first time since 2015. They literally have played a game a week. And tonight starts about 5 games in 9 days for the Sparks. And so just kind of a weird scheduling quirk to begin the season for Los Angeles as Cooper tosses it away. Shyla Heel into the game, Stephanie Watts into the game for Chicago. Heel with that hesitation, and she lost it. Vandersloot getting set to check back in for the Sky. They're getting a little bit of a breather here to begin this fourth quarter. Here's Nia Coffey for 3. And left that follow-through hanging a little bit.
Coffey has already hit 2 threes in this game, and she was wide open on that skip pass as well. Chicago has to make sure they're only a step within her vicinity in order to get a hand up and contest. And they got another offensive foul called.
9 points for Nia Coffey, who was a one-time teammate of Megan McEwen.
Nia Coffey, yes, and she, I tell you what, since her freshman year of college has been a stud.
She has hopped around a little bit, bounced around the league. This is her first year playing with LA. A couple years with Vegas and San Antonio, and a year with Atlanta, and a year with Phoenix.
In a big basketball family, the Coffeys, her brother playing in the NBA and she's in the WNBA, the only brother-sister duo to do so at the moment.
In the same city. The LA media community needs to jump on that story, in my opinion. Well, certainly getting some production from Coffey and off the bench, that has been another big storyline for Los Angeles here tonight. 9 for Coffey, 8 for Sykes, 8 for Zoe B in her 2021 debut, 5 for Cooper. Derek Fisher changing things up a little bit in the starting lineup. If you were just joining us, putting Arella Garantes to start the game with Sykes coming off the bench in the first half.
And that has paid off dividends for Los Angeles. Sykes providing that defensive spark, and she's also been a massive offensive spark as well. She has 8 points tonight, double what she's averaging currently in the scoring column. 32 bench points for Los Angeles. That type of bench production is going to win you a lot of basketball games in this league.
It was the third quarter that was a huge quarter for Los Angeles, outscoring Chicago by 13, 23-10 in that quarter. And a timeout called by Los Angeles. Just under 8 minutes to play in this one, and Los Angeles with a comfy, cozy lead by 19.
5 to shoot. From the logo, Ionescu! From the logo, the 25th anniversary logo. Nice look inside from Ionescu to Didi Richards.
She's getting whatever she wants in there. When she touches it that deep in the lane, she is going to get an opportunity. Nice dive.
Great feed and nice dive, as Jules said, by Wickham.
You had to keep Maddie around for 25. Come on,
yeah,
keep 25 alive.
There you go. Nice, partner. Sabrini Ionescu, off balance, hits the J. Shooting 44% from the floor overall. As Ionescu backs in, powers, gets it to go, and she's fouled. 3 rebounds and an assist shy of a triple-double. No Liberty player has ever had a triple-double. And there's a triple for Ionescu. Sabrini Ionescu has just accomplished a triple-double, getting her 10th rebound, and she hits the 3! Oh, baby!
2 games of hoops on a Wednesday night. We got your top 5 right here on WNBA.com at number 5. Dewana feeding this one right up over the top, and Jonquel Jones gets it to drop. The Sun get it done as Bonner drops the dime at number 5. On to number 4. Same team, and this time Jasmine Thomas is doing her thing. Great extension in the basket's direction as Thomas is upon us at number 4. At 3, they don't call the Dreams Home Arena the Carter Center yet, but give it time and a couple more of these dimes. It's Kennedy Carter to Elizabeth Williams, and such a beautiful move to the baseline. Gets Atlanta in at number 3. On to number 2, and we stay at the Carter Center. I'm sticking with it. Atlanta's defense is a dream, and on the other end, it's Kennedy doing her thing. A little and one fun gets Kennedy Carter in at number 2. But at number 1, the mid-range game is all the rage. Courtney Williams high off the glass with class gently in the hoop, and more and one fun. This one lands at number 1.
Of WNBA Enterprises.
Well, Stephanie Watts, huge production for Chicago off the bench. One of the positives, a career-high 8 points, her first buckets of her WNBA career coming tonight. 8 points in 15 minutes of play, but Megan, you and I were looking at James Wade's probably reaction because he's looking at the same thing in the box score. 26 turnovers that Derek Fisher and Los Angeles have created.
And what's concerning is that every single player that has checked in for Chicago has committed at least 2 turnovers themselves. So this team just needs to settle into more of an offense, needs to really focus down on those unforced turnovers happening. But credit Los Angeles for speeding up Chicago's pace of play.
And in case you're wondering, we got a stoppage of play here as we decide on the possession between these officials. confused about what the call is, but it's Chicago Sky basketball. How about that?
You and me both. I was hoping you would know.
That was an inadvertent whistle, we're told. I kept staring at my stat monitor, hoping that it would save me.
Man, stat monitor sometimes not pulling through, man.
It doesn't throw you the life support at all. Sykes is picking up the foul there. And here's Diamond DeShields for three. She's got a couple of those tonight.
DeShields rarely misses from beyond the arc when she catches in rhythm and has a second to set her feet and score.
You know, if DeShields and Chicago can start hitting threes like that, we have seen a lot of significant leads in this league dwindle down a little bit. So it is possible. There's still plenty of basketball to be played. But certainly Chicago's got to take care of the basketball, number one.
That would be number one. Then number two would just be working on that floor spacing. Los Angeles has not allowed that, but it all starts on the defensive side of the ball with making plays just like that.
And LA tosses it away. 16 turnovers now for the Sparks. We're looking up for a big defensive possession here to try to stall this momentum, and that one popping out for Copper.
That hit about every single part of the basket before rolling out, too.
Telling you, it's supposed to be these home court rims. They're not getting it at Wintrust Arena.
I've been telling them, someone's got to talk to facilities, man.
Chiney was looking for the handoff to Tolliver. Now single digits on the shot clock. 6 to shoot. It's out to Sykes in the corner. She has been one of the MVPs for LA tonight.
And it's not only the way she's gotten it done on the defensive side of the ball, but her offensive productivity has been off the charts this game. 11 points for Sykes.
In her 22 minutes off the bench, DeShields goes down hard, and she's holding that right elbow. Chicago cannot afford to see yet one of its other stars be injured this year.
DeShields, a player who just made a huge defensive play on this side of the ball, coming in trying to generate even more offense. DeShields needs to start getting even more shots within this offense. Chicago is really good when she's able to get to the basket or get her in that three-point situation where you drive and kick to her on the perimeter.
Diamond DeShields coming off of a shortened 2020 season. Left the Wubble for personal reasons, dealt with some injuries as well, but she has played in her third straight game in 35+ minutes. She won't reach that here tonight because of foul trouble, but certainly a great sign that she's getting healthier to be able to log some of those minutes.
DeShields is a player that is an X-Factor-like player for Chicago just because of what she brings on both sides of the ball.
Going high off the glass and taking the contact, and look at LA just sprinting over to get their teammate Wheeler off the court.
You can tell the chemistry is really positive with this Los Angeles team. The way those body language takes place, sprinting to pick up teammates, cheering each other on, and they have a lot of reason to celebrate right now. The way they've played on the defensive side of the ball, forcing Chicago to be really uncomfortable. Again, it's worth noting, Lisa, 26 turnovers tonight from Chicago, and Los Angeles scored 28 points off those turnovers. I mean, that is some defensive productivity at its finest.
Part of the reason why they are plus 18 right now on the scoreboard, in case you're wondering. And Chicago is flirting with some uncharted territory in terms of the turnover category. Their record for turnovers in a game is 27, so they are one off of tying an all-time worst in a game. They set that when they played Tulsa back in 2012. And they sit, as you mentioned, Megan, 26 turnovers, nearly 27 right there. And 4 to shoot. Somebody's got to put it up. Watts on the drive, and Coffey got her. A shot clock violation. Nia Coffey with the hawking defense.
Excellent awareness by Coffey, reading the offensive player, anticipating that the layup was going to go up, beats her to the spot with that block.
Three blocks on the game for Los Angeles. Nia Coffey's first. the confidence, the fluidity that's starting to happen here with Los Angeles. They got a lot of talented pieces. That one rimming out for Sykes, but Nneka picking it up and tosses it away.
This is Los Angeles' third game this season, so these players are still learning how to play with one another, each other's tendencies on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball.
It's Vandersloot who pulls and fires, and isn't that kind of the script for Chicago? And that one all the way down and out.
The second time that has happened in the last minute for Chicago, just in and out with these shots.
Chicago shooting 5 of 17 from 3, just under 30% for the game. Here's Coffey for 3. That's her first miss from back there. All of her points coming from three-point territory tonight. She was 3 for 3 before that shot.
Chicago's given her a lot of room and a lot of time to get that shot off on the three-point line.
Azurá Stevens for 3. And knocks it down.
Those are the types of plays that Chicago needs to continue making, just knocking down those shots, but it comes down to getting a stop on the defensive possession.
I'm going to guess that maybe one of these subs that stand in at the scorer's table is going to be for Azurá Stevens. She's about at that 16-minute mark, which James Wade told us was about her minute restriction right now. And we see Natasha Mack, number 8 there on the left, who's only played in 1 game and hasn't played here tonight, getting set to check in along with Shyla Heal. And a technical foul called on Courtney Vandersloot, which sends Erica Wheeler to the free throw line. We mentioned the frustration. Sloot has been right there almost with James Wade here tonight. Hebert smothers Chiney Ogwumike.
Hebert using that 6'4" frame to beat Ogwumike to the spot and anticipate when that shot was going up.
$11 seconds left on the shot clock. Under 4 to play here in this game. And LA is playing with a player down. And finally a whistle to stop the action. That's Brittany Sykes. And she was down even before the ball was inbounded. So the left side of your screen here, let's take a look.
Top of the key on the screen. It looks like Heal's shoulder just goes straight into Sykes' mid-body. Almost looks like knocking the breath out a little bit.
Now she's up, communicating, talking, gives a thumbs up. Sykes, one of the 3 double-figure scorers on the LA side. Sykes with 11, Wheeler with 12, and Nneka Ogwumike with 14.
And you mentioned it before, Lisa. Derek Fisher making the decision to bring Sykes off the bench, trying to create that spark and energy in the second group for Los Angeles, and it's paid off big time. Not only from a scoring standpoint, but Sykes, the best defender for Los Angeles, also coming in and providing that defensive spark as well. 5 steals for Sykes tonight.
All of them coming in the first half. And I felt like they all happened within like a 10-minute time span too. It was bang, bang, bang. And Chicago will get the basketball on the baseline. And so Chicago, by the way, tied the team record for turnovers with a team turnover. So isn't that fitting?
Sometimes it's just that type of night, and this is that type of situation that Chicago has found itself in. We've spoken to it earlier in our broadcast. Chicago missing 3 of its main players in regards to minutes, with guard Allie Quigley and forward Candace Parker and forward Stephanie Dolson. That's 36 points a game between the 3 of those players, and not only points production but also veteranship on the floor. So just players that Chicago has yet to really have a complete team out there that is going to be representative of who they are and its identity throughout the rest of this season.
You know, the only time that they've been at full strength is the opener against the Washington Mystics. And it was an impressive game, not only offensively, but defensively, holding the Mystics to 50 points, or in the 50-point range in that game.
I'm going to assist you on that, partner. 56 points on that game, and that was tied a franchise record for lowest points. So this team has the ability to make it happen on the defensive side of the ball, and they have the ability to score as well. But as James Wade told us, this roster was built so every single player would contribute and be successful within it. So when you have multiple pieces missing, it makes it really difficult for everyone to have to adjust with such little practice time.
And the positive that he's trying to spin with this situation is that some of these players, maybe like a Heber, maybe like a Heel, maybe like a Watts, and now you see Natasha Matthews in for the first time, getting some extra playing time because of those missing players. And a foul against Kahleah Copper. And again, you can see James Wade and Chicago they just don't feel like these calls are going in their direction tonight.
On Ogwumike, the call not whistled until Ogwumike grabbed her face. Now, does she get hit in the eye? Looks like absolutely. So Chicago frustrated with the delay in the call, I think, from this angle.
And Chiney Ogwumike stepping to the free throw line for the first time. LA shooting 13 of 15 as a team. Let's go back and look at it.
Number 13 in white on your screen gets hit in the face coming down from Watts trying to dig in.
Just a lot of stoppage of action. It's interesting because the stat monitor actually said they gave the foul against Chiney Ogwumike to Kahleah Copper, but she was nowhere near that play as we saw and we showed you on the replay.
A lot of frustration right now on Chicago's bench.
25 fouls, personal fouls against the Chicago Sky team. So they're reviewing this play for a clear path foul.
You mentioned the foul count, and you have 25 fouls for Chicago, 16 for Los Angeles, so very skewed numbers there when it comes to the foul count in tonight's game.
This foul whistled against Shyla Heel. So we'll replay this as Heel with the setup here.
Wheeler just making the easy pocketing. Heel has the ball out in front. Wheeler anticipates and finishes, but we're looking at the foul here as Heel grabs Wheeler, trying to prevent a run out for an easy layup.
Looks like they are going to rule it a clear path foul. Again, if no defender is ahead of the offensive player on the transition scoring opportunity, that defensive player will get penalized, which is what the officials saw at the monitor. And so Wheeler get a couple free throws here coming up. Makes good. She splits the difference. And so with that play, this is not the kind of record you want to set tonight. A franchise worst 28 turnovers tonight.
Los Angeles has played excellent defense this evening, has played a tremendous part in forcing Chicago to turn the ball over. The defensive intensity has been strong throughout the entirety of this game for Los Angeles. LA holds a stronghold here score-wise in the fourth.
2 games of hoops on a Wednesday night. We got your top 5 right here on WNBA.com at number 5. Dewana feeding this one right up over the top, and Jonquel Jones gets it to drop. The Sun get it done as Bonner drops the dime at number 5. On to number 4. Same team, and this time Jasmine Thomas is doing her thing. Great extension in the baskets direction as Thomas is upon it at number 4. At 3, they don't call the Dreams Home Arena the Carter Center yet, but give it time and a couple more of these dimes. It's Kennedy Carter to Elizabeth Williams, and such a beautiful move to the baseline. Gets Atlanta in at number 3. On to number 2, and we stay at the Carter Center. I'm sticking with it. Atlanta's defense is a dream, and on the other end, it's Kennedy doing her thing. A little and one fun gets Kennedy Carter in at number 2. But at number 1, the mid-range game is all the rage. Courtney Williams high off the glass with class gently in the hoop, and more and one fun. This one lands at number 1 on the WNBA.com. Come on.
The excitement is palpable. We're in the arena. There are fans in the building, and the future of this franchise is bright.
This team is fully together, fully healthy. Boy, they are going to be an exciting team to watch.
Well, one of those players coming back from injury, and that's Sabrina Ionescu.
Just really getting her feet wet. It's been a while since she's been able to get out and play.
Ionescu connects on her first 3 of the season. Nice look inside from Ionescu. Tried to gather that pass, puts up a long 3 herself, and banks it in.
You know Sabrina Ionescu has the ball. She's got to find you.
First game of the season. The Liberty will have a chance to win this game. Tied at 87 with under 6 to go. Ball inbound to Kylie Shook. 4 seconds left. Ionescu, a long 3 for the win, and she gets it! Sabrina Ionescu! 0.4 seconds left. And the Liberty win the season opener.
Under 3 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and in this game, 73-55 is your score. Los Angeles looking for its first win of the year. In Chicago, you know, they've dropped their last 2, and unless a miraculous comeback happens in the final 2 minutes and 49 seconds, they're going to drop the last 3 with players like that in street clothes. Candace Parker.
The Sparks have put on a tremendous showing, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Every single player that has clocked in has scored a basket. It's been balanced scoring. It's getting it done on the defensive side of the ball as well. We mentioned it. I feel like we're beating a dead horse with it almost. But 28 turnovers tonight for Chicago. Much of that due to Los Angeles' defense.
In case you're wondering, there is a WNBA record that is somewhat close. Turnovers in a game, the WNBA record is 33. Chicago is sitting at 28 right now in this game and has nearly given up 30 points off of turnovers tonight to Los Angeles. The Sparks have picked up 29 off of the 28 turnovers. The pull-up from mid-range, that rims out. And the rebound to Coffey. Here's Bria Holmes. The confidence, we've mentioned the fluidity of Los Angeles, not necessarily on that play, but the offense has looked better. They're still right around their average. They average, you know, a WNBA worst so far, 70 points per game. It's sitting at 73. But you talk to the Los Angeles people as Heel gets the bucket. They've said that Nneka Ogwumike, Brittany Sykes has talked about the positivity and in some ways, some of the best training camp practices that they've had in a while have come this year.
You also have, you know, leadership. You look at Simone Augustus, who's now going to be a assistant coach on this Sparks team, so she's on the bench, but just a veteran leader who was in training camp and has now had the chance to stay within this organization. And you have to imagine how much that type of leadership and knowledge around the game has helped this team.
And a shot clock violation with 1:26 left to play. And lots of changes with this Los Angeles team. You see Nneka Ogwumike, and there is Seimone Augustus taking notes in her coaching uniform now instead of a playing uniform. She announced her retirement at the beginning of the year. And as you mentioned, Megan, now on the coaching staff. And wouldn't you love to have that experience on your coaching staff? 4 WNBA titles, an Olympic gold medalist 3 times. Copper gets the bucket.
We were watching Los Angeles warm up when we arrived to the arena, and I was kind of laughing because Seimone Augustus is giving these perfect passes to her teammates, or to her players now, rather, warming up. And you don't always see a coach, warming a player up that has the ability to put those types of zip-on passes.
Played a majority of her career in Minnesota. And wrapping things up here in Los Angeles, her playing career, and now beginning her coaching career here. And there's a 3 that falls for Arella Guirantes, her first 3 of her WNBA career. It'll be LA basketball. And so Chicago will drop its last 3 games. And again, playing shorthanded and trying to piece things together. No Candace Parker, no Allie Quigley, no Stephanie Dolson. Boy, they cannot wait to get those 3 back.
Just to get some type of fluidity going with this team. Missing those pieces. Chicago still has a lot of young players as well, trying to find their identities and their roles in the WNBA.
And a stoppage in play as the officials go to the monitor looking at the out of bounds, which they can do in the final 2 minutes of regulation. And so these 2 teams will meet each other again on Sunday. And this is what they're reviewing. Is it off the hands of Hill? Is it off the hands of Cooper?
It appears to be, from that angle, off the hands of Cooper.
I agree with that. I think they both at some point touched it. Looked like maybe Cooper's hands touched it last. We'll see what they come up with. 32 seconds left to play in this one. Again, we got another WNBA game coming up after this on CBS Sports Network. And the call on the floor will stand. Once this one is complete, we'll get you out to Minnesota and Seattle. And so the officials saw what we saw off of Cooper last, and so Chicago will take it out from underneath. And Derek Fisher and LA are just seconds away from picking up their first win of this season after dropping their first 2.
Looks like the officials did not see what we saw.
You're right.
They're giving the ball to Los Angeles.
We all have had different eyes on some of these plays here tonight. Guirantes with that step back, it's short. And so Chicago's still looking for its first home victory. And we'll try to pick that up on Sunday, again, as these 2 teams will meet again on Sunday. A different scheduling setup, as we still are in the COVID era. LA will stay put here in Chicago and get 2 games in 3 days. Derek Fisher was looking for measurable improvement with each quarter here tonight. I think he saw some of that. A 15-point advantage.